Hello, my lovely viewers. I want to begin with a big thank you note to all of you for subscribing to my channel, for being a part of my journey in the learning of astrology. When you show interest in my videos, when you subscribe to my channel, it really motivates me. It encourages me to find more worthwhile and interesting content for you. Because while I am writing the content, I am also researching for a new type of content so that I also gain in terms of my knowledge. It is not only that the things that I'm already knowing I'm sharing with you, but at the same time, I also research for newer things which I can share with you through my videos. So thank you all for being a part of my channel. And without your support, it has got no meaning. So with this, I want to begin with my new video on the 11th house of astrology. So friends, this is a very, very important house because without the patronage of the 11th house, a person cannot achieve his desires because this is the house of your wish fulfillment. This is the house of the things that you really, really desire or you really, really wish for. 11th house is also about your income. 11th house is also about the status that you have in life because it is the second house to your 10th house. So it means it will increase your status by the placement of benefics here, and it can also demote your status by the placement of malefics present here because it is the dhan sthan of your karma house, that is your 10th house. So the 11th house is also about large organizations. The 11th house is also about your elder siblings. And the 11th house is also one of the Upchya houses and Trishtaya houses. So the Upchya houses are the houses of growth, whereas the Trishtaya houses are somewhat malefic in their nature. So the Trishtaya houses are the third house, sixth house, and the 11th house. So these houses are malefic in their nature. The 11th house is 12th of 12th. So it is kind of reflection of the 12th house. It is the sixth of your sixth house. So it is again a reflection of your sixth house. So it means during the activation of the dasha of the 11th lord, the sixth house will get activated. And the sixth house is also a dusthana. Besides being a upche house, it is a dusthana. When it acts as a upche, when you have a planet placed here, and it will act as a dusthana when it is getting activated along with some malefics. So the 11th house is going to give us some health problems. As it is 12th of 12th, it means the hospitalization can also get active during the dasha of the 11th lord. So the 11th house is also about victories over our difficulties because it is sixth of sixth. So if you have a planet placed in the 11th house, it means that you will be able to win over your problems, your court cases, your difficulties after going through a lot of hard work or lot of torture because it is the sixth of sixth. So the person has to go through the miseries of the sixth house before the person gets accomplishments or before the person achieves victory over his sixth house related problems. So the 11th house is all about recovery from illnesses or gaining from court cases or any other problem that you are facing. So 11th house is much more powerful way of expression of the sixth house, and the 11th house can promote the 12th house or it can demote, by which I mean to say if you have malefics in the 11th house, the 12th house will give you problems. So there will be increase of expenditure which is seen from the 12th because the malefic in the 11th house are promoting that. If you have benefics in the 11th house, they will also demote the qualities or you can say negative results of the 12th house. So it means the expenditure would be under check. But because malefics are present in the 11th house, the person could be susceptible to getting hospitalized. So during the dasha of the 11th lord, you will see that initially you will get very good results, but later on the person can suffer from health problems. So that is to be seen in the activation of the 11th lord. But if the 11th lord is aspected by benefics, or if it is sitting with the benefic, then the results may be different. The results could be good. But if the 11th lord is itself afflicted by a malefic, or it is sitting all alone, then during its dasha it can give some health problems. So it is basically a mixed bag, where it will give you wish fulfillments, it is also going to give you some troubles related to your own health. And the dasha of the 11th lord is always going to give you some income or some earning capacity for sure. If your 11th lord is well placed in the kendra or in the trines, then you will have a great earning capacity, and you will see that your wishes are also going to get fulfilled. But if the 11th lord is sitting in those thanas, like in the 6th house or in the 12th house, then you will feel that the wishes are not getting sufficiently fulfilled, or the earning capacity is slowed down. So let's talk about the placement of the 11th lord in various houses and what results can it give. Also, before beginning, I want to tell you that the 11th lord, wherever it sits, shows that you will be very attached with that house, and it is also going to give tremendous amount of potential in that house where the 11th lord is sitting. So you will have lots of talent, or you can say lots of gains coming through that house. So the material gains are good, potential from that house is very good, and attachment of the native towards that house is also very, very good. So let's talk about the presence of 11th lord in the first house. So this placement, along with the placement of the 11th lord in the second house and in the 8th house, is not very desired for the well-being of the native, or you can say for the lifespan of the native. But please do not take it discreetly like this. You have to see the other benefic aspects also, the position of Saturn also, then you can conclude. I am just going to tell you a simplified generalized prediction of the 11th lord in these houses. So in the first house, it makes you very, very ambitious, and it also makes you very concerned about your own health. There could be minor or major health issues that the native may be facing, but the native could have a lot of potential in him, and the native could value himself a lot. He could think that he is way above others, because he himself thinks that he is the most uh, important person amongst all those around him. If the 11th lord is sitting in the second house, it means that the native is very fond of his family. The native is very attached with his family. The native will also be a good singer, or the native could be a very convincing speaker, because the second house is about your speech. So you will be very capable speaker, or you could be a good singer. This placement of the 11th lord in the second house is very good for creating good wealth, because this also constitutes a dhan yoga. Of course, I will be talking about the Argola also, but after I complete this rotation of the 11th lord in all 12 houses. 11th lord in the third house makes you very fond of your siblings, and it gives you a talent that you would have acquired after great learning. So you could be very good with your hobbies, or with your talents that you have acquired after learning for a long period of time. You could be a very effective communicator, and you could also earn a lot through your efforts, through your communication skills. Your communications could be very, very effective to those who come in contact with you. So the 11th lord in the fourth house makes you very close to your mother. You will feel that there could be nobody more attached to you besides your mother. So you could be very fond of your mother, and you could also be very fond of studying, and you would be one of those people who would love to have the gadgets which are giving you comforts. Like you could have lots of cars or things of comforts at your place, because you will be attached with all those things because of the presence of the 11th lord here. And you could also make money through these things, like you could make money through properties, or you could make money through vehicles, or you could make money through home decor. So there are various things that are coming from the fourth house. You could also make money through teaching. So 11th lord in the fifth house can give you some problems related to having babies, because it is the womb area for a female, and it is also your stomach area. The person could have stomach problems, or a female could have womb related difficulties. But because the 11th house is all about wish fulfillment, so it means you will definitely have a baby, but it could come the hard way. That is why you will become very attached with your children, and they will be your most prized possessions. 11th lord in the fifth house also give you lots of romantic liaisons, because you will be a person who will feel that there could be nobody as attractive as you, and thereby you could have lots of romantic relationships with people of the opposite side. So 11th lord in the fifth house is also very good for attainment of a powerful position in politics, because it is the house of power, and 11th lord is the house of big organization. You could also be a CEO to a company, and here you could also gain money through the speculation or speculative gains, because the fifth house is all about speculative gains. Fifth house is also about scholarships. So 11th lord present here would give you scholarships or speculative gains. But the health part of the fifth house will suffer in this case. The 11th lord in the sixth house could give you a work which involves healing others, or which involves defense, or you could be a lawyer. You could gain through those things. So always remember that wherever the 11th lord is sitting in the horoscope, that is the house from where you can earn your money. So your earning could come through the social sector, or through serving people by being a lawyer, by being a doctor, by being a defense personnel, by being a police personnel. So these are the areas. And sixth house is also about difficulties. So it means you will also face difficulties coming through big organizations, because the 11th house is about the big organizations. So your problems will also come through them. And 11th house, as I told you, is also the house of recovery. And sitting in the sixth house, it means that you will definitely be able to overcome your problems, your difficulties through this placement. And sixth house is about your digestion, about your small intestines which absorb the food, and about part of your large intestines. And another later part of the large intestines are present in your seventh house. So it means your food digestion could give you some troubles due to the presence of the 11th lord here. Also, I want to tell you that 3, 6, and 11, these house lords, if they are sitting in each other's house, it also forms a kind of Viprit Raj Yoga. The person will gain tremendously well in his earnings despite going through some harsh conditions. So, in fact, it is a good position. If the 11th lord is placed in the third house, which is trine to it, or if the 11th lord is placed in the fifth house, which is again a trine to your horoscope, and if the 11th lord is placed in the 11th house itself, or in the seventh house, this will give you a long life, and this will also promote the qualities, earning capacities of the 11th house. Now, talking about the 11th lord sitting in your seventh house, it shows that you will find that your wife or husband is a prized possession. You will gain after your marriage, or you could have gains coming through your marriage, or you could think that you have a trophy wife or a trophy husband. But the thing is that because it is the 11th lord, it can give some health problems to the native's spouse. So thereby the native may feel insufficient in terms of his marriage, and the native could look out for happiness. Thereby it can cause some disturbance also. But because it is 11th house is 11th lord is also about the lord of giving you wish fulfillment, so you will always see that your wishes to get romantically involved with people of opposite gender is getting fulfilled through the placement of the 11th lord in the seventh house. Now the placement of the 11th lord in the 10th house is in a way good and in a way it is bad, because the 8th house is all about the things which are hidden from the world, so which you only know. So it means that also 11th lord is 10 places away from itself when it sits in the 8th house. So it means that you could be doing a profession, you could be doing a work which is hidden, which is not known to people. Either you could be a occultist like a numerologist, tarot card reader, astrology, or a tantric, or you could be doing some secret services related work. You could be a forensic expert, you could be a CBI agent, or you could be in the income tax department, because from the 8th house also comes income tax or insurance, or some kind of work which involves construction or digging the land. That kind of work you could gain from. The gains or earnings could come through that if the 11th lord is placed in your 8th house. The placement of the 11th lord in the 8th house can be a bit difficult for you in terms of your health concerning the 8th house. So the person could have problems related to hemorrhoids or urinary issues. Now, you could also have gains coming after your marriage, because the 8th house is the house of your in-laws. So you may gain through your in-laws in this way. And now we will talk about the 11th lord sitting in the 9th house. 9th house is your Bhagyasthan, it is your trine house. So here 11th lord does very well because it is sitting 11 places away from itself. So it will increase your wealth. So you will be able to make sufficiently good amount of wealth or earning. You will create wealth and you will gain through your father, or you could gain through foreign trips, going to foreign lands or taking trips to pilgrimages. From there you will earn your wealth, or you could also acquire lots of learnings, lots of degrees with this placement of the 11th lord in the 9th house. You could be very well educated or highly qualified. And uh, 9th house is also about the right things that you do. So by the placement of the 11th lord here, you will be always doing good things, because you will have richness of those things. If the 11th lord is present here, you will have richness of things to do which will be appreciated by people. So now let's talk about, okay, one more thing. The 11th lord in the 9th house will give you closeness to your father. You could think that your father is the best thing that could happen, but there could be some health complaints to your father, but you will be very attached with your father. 11th lord in the 10th house is a good placement because it is sitting in the kendra to your ascendant, but it is sitting 12 places away from itself. So it means that you could earn from multinational companies, or you could be employed in a foreign country. And if you are working in your own country, then these people feel that their earnings are not sufficiently well, and due to which they can succumb towards bribery. So they can take some wrong path. So it is not good if you have these kind of thoughts. But the 11th lord sitting in the 10th house will give you a very high profile job. You could be sitting in a very high position. You could be a CEO of a big organization, because the 11th lord is also big organization. So if it is sitting in the 10th house, it means you could be very well employed in a very big company, and your status would be cherished by all. So, and you will have very high income with this placement. Now the placement of the 11th lord in the 11th house is very desirable. You could be very well in your earnings, very good in your earnings, and you will feel that your desires always get fulfilled. You are very lucky in those terms, and your health will also not spoil in this case, because planets which are Trishdaya lords, if they are sitting in the Trishdaya houses, they will not give you much trouble. And your elder siblings could be very helpful towards you. They could always support you in whatever you do. 11th lord sitting in the 12th house means that whatever you are earning is going into expenditure. Or the other way to look at it is that you could be earning from foreign countries, or you could be earning um, from hospitals or from jails. or from sea routes, like you could be working for marine. So there could be ways to look at it, but it also means that whatever you are earning doesn't stay, and you spend it on things which are desired or undesired. That depends upon the lord of the 11th house. If the 11th lord is a malefic planet, then you will spend your money on things which are not desired. If your 11th lord is a benefic and it is sitting in the 12th house, it means that you will spend on your luxuries, but you will control your expenditure otherwise. But for your own sake, for your own luxuries, you will spend a lot. And you could also earn from foreign lands. So we talked about the placement of the 11th lord in different houses. Now I also want to tell you that if you have planets placed in the 11th house, they will always favor you without your knowledge. Like if Saturn is present in your first house, sorry, if Saturn is present in your 11th house, it means that you will always get the benefit of people who are working under you, who are your employees. If you have Mars present here, it means that you will not have many friends, and you could also land up in court cases or litigation with the presence of Mars in the 11th house. But if you happen to have friends, they could only be males, and they will always favor you without your knowledge. If you have Venus present here, you could get favors from females or from ladies, and you could also earn through these things, because these are the karkas which can give you earnings. Like Saturn present in the 11th house could give you earnings through things which are related to coal, construction, or oil. So these are some of the sectors through which you can earn wealth or you can gain. If you have Mars present in the 11th house, you could gain or earn through the things related to Mars, like properties, or something related to technical work, construction, engineering, manufacturing. So you can also be a surgeon. You can earn uh, through kitchen related work also, by being a chef. So if you have Venus present in the 11th house, it means your earnings could come through artistic things, or cinema, or music, or arts, or designing, or even hospitality industry. If you have Moon here, you could gain through consulting, you could gain through connecting with people, or you could gain through being a counselor or a psychologist, or being a people-centric person. If you have Mercury present here, it means that you could gain through your friends, or you could gain through your younger siblings, or through your cousins. Similarly, if you have Rahu present here, it means that your gains could come through things which are poisonous. You could be working for a medicine making industry, or you could gain through electrical appliances, or you could do some technical work, or you could gain through media if you have Rahu present in the 11th house. So Rahu is basically a foreigner. So these people will silently support you in your endeavors, or foreign related things will always be fruitful for you. So if you have Ketu present here, you will see that technical work will always be favorable for you. Or if you are doing some spiritual kind of work, that will also be very favorable for you. So presence of planets in the 11th house does make a mark. Also, these planets are causing a kind of argala on various houses in your horoscope. Like the first house gets a argala, and the seventh house gets a argala by the placement of planets in the 11th house. The eighth house gets a argala, and the 10th house gets a argala. So by argala, I mean to say that activation to a given house. So a given house, if it is having a planet placed 4 places away from itself, or 5 places away from itself, or second place to itself, or 11 places away from itself, then that given house which we are talking, or the house under consideration, would get a argala in some way or the other. Like malefics will give a malefic argala, malefic activation, and benefics will give a benefic Argala. They will promote that house, and the malefics will somewhere demote the house. So let's talk about the Argala. Suppose Mars is present in the 11th house. So it is giving a malefic Argala to your 7th house. So what happens is the person will have difficulties in his marriage. If Mars is present in the 11th house, it is giving a malefic Argala to your 10th house. So these people could find very hard to save their money that they have earned through their profession, or due to their speech, they could have problems in their career, because it is the second house Argala to your 10th. So it is placed 2 houses away from the 10th. So Mars in the 11th house can cause you problems due to your speech at work. If Saturn is present here, it can again give you problems related to your earnings. These people could take up wrong path in order to earn money, and sometimes Saturn's presence in the 11th house will delay your earnings till good number of 35 years. So after you have attained that age, you will see that the earnings will benefit, will prosper with the presence of Saturn. But Saturn and Rahu here in the 11th house can cause a malefic Argala on the 10th house. So the reputation of the person could be under stake with the presence of these two malefics, because they are also causing a Argala on the first house. First house is also your reputation, your entire social standing. Similarly, the 10th house is your reputation. So Rahu and Saturn, and even to some extent Mars, could spoil your reputation due to their placement in the 11th house. And Ketu in the 11th house will not spoil your reputation, but it will cause constant blockages in your area of work. The person may find difficulties in staying or sticking to a given job for a long time with the placement of Ketu in the 11th house. If Sun is present in the 11th house, it will be a good Argala on the 10th house. So it is promoting the 10th house, because Sun in Gemini astrology or otherwise also is considered as a benefic, but it is just a cruel planet in the sense that it is a separatist planet. Otherwise, Sun doesn't damage. It is a Sattvic planet. So its Argala will be considered as a benefic Argala. So Sun in the 11th house will give you name and fame in your career or in your social standing. Similarly, Moon in the 11th house will give you name and fame in your social standing. Jupiter or Moon or Venus in the 11th house will again give you name, fame in your social standing. So Jupiter, Venus, Moon and Mercury will give a good Argala to your 8th house. It will give you a long life by their placement in the 11th house. But Mercury will give a negative Argala on your 7th house, because 7th house is about your partnership or your sexual relationship that you make. So Mercury in the 11th house can give some kind of impotency or disinterest towards forming the relationship. So it can give a malefic Argala to your 7th house of marriage or partnership with the opposite gender. So that way it is not good, but otherwise all from all aspects Mercury does well in the 11th house. So there are always mixed bag of planets or the results of the placement of the lords of particular houses that we look. So nothing is all white and nothing is all black in astrology. I always say that, because all planets are capable of giving you good results to some extent and some not so good results to some extent. So friends, this was all for today. Stay connected, and I want to thank you all once again for being a part of my channel. Do share my video if you happen to like it, and very soon I will make another video which will be of interest to you. Goodbye and thanks for now.